I know.
And we're starting our
It's
meeting.
very flattering.
Yes, I don't like to look at myself. I'm horrible on Zooms and things like that. I don't like to look at
Oh,
myself.
I don't.
Okay, we are live.
That's another old lady.
We're live streaming. Okay. All right. You all have the agenda in front of you. So, starting off with, oh wait, where's my agenda? Oh,
There's coffee.
okay, thank you.
We'll share.
All right, would you like to read the minutes from the last meeting, please?
Yes, they were on February 11th. The Marion Township Board met with the Marion Township trustee on February 11th, 25 at 6:30 p.m. All board members were in attendance. There were no members of the public in attendance. The board approved the January 7th, 2025 minutes. The board approved the annual financial report and was signed by the board. There being no further business to come before the board, the meeting was adjourned.
Okay, well, do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I approve those minutes.
Okay, and,
I'm second.
okay, all right, all those in favor? Okay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Diana, you can sign that and then keep this for your file, okay? And I'll take that to upload. Okay, all right. I've got in front of you all, next on the agenda, review fire budget for 2025 and the money in the fire fund. Okay. This page that has the blue stripe, that shows what we budgeted in 2025 that got approved. And it has our rainy day fund, and then our township general fund, and then next it has township assistance, and then the fire fund. So that's what got approved for this 2025. And of that fire fund, $4,400 goes to the town of Morristown because they provide backup when needed, or water, they've got water tanks. So when Shelbyville Fire Department needs them, they call them. And then for the Shelbyville Fire Department, we've had budgeted, or our contract for them was $21,581.14 for 2025. They've requested for it to be double, $43,162.28. Now, you can see one thing on the agenda that I wanted to tell you all about, that recent changes in the law regarding townships. Unrestricted, 30% of our unrestricted funds, and there's still some up in the air about if it goes to the county or the city. Some of Marion Township is in the city, but it will go to those governmental entities for roads. So, and then, okay, so I've shown you what we had budgeted for 2025. Next in your packet, you'll see this is the ledger for the checkbook. And at the top of it, you can see it's run through June 30th of 2025. I just wrapped up the whole first 6 months. And you can see what's in the township. Okay, rainy day fund, there's $35,977 in that part of the checking account. The township fund has over $111,000. Township assistance has over $24,000. Firefighting fund has $136,000. Well, That's as of the beginning of June. I guess I'm reading the numbers in the first column, not the last column. And the cemetery trust fund, that's that $50,000 CD. And it just earns interest every month of about $1.31. So basically, we do have the money to accept their demand. And I think it would be prudent to do that. So I'm going to open it up for discussion for you all. You know, we've got the money, and the fire protection is so important, and they do such a good job. Oh, and in front of you, these are the fire calls that they've done to Marion Township. They went through a lot of trouble to get me that. And there's like 14 pages, so I think I made 2 copies.
No, I know. Doug was
But,
telling me
you know,
a lot of the runs weren't having to go to.
well, these were fire related only. Some are about a smoke alarm that
Do
went
they count
off.
the false alarms at the nursing home?
That's
Yes,
Because he
Because
told me
they have-
that, he says they make 2 runs a day to do false alarms there.
yes, that is considered because of the false fire alarms there. Yes, they do.
They're not annexed in.
They're in the Marion Township, but it is part of Shelbyville, but it's part of, you know,
Still
Marion
part of
Township.
then.
Right, and so is Trotters Chase and the Intelleplex Park, you know, that's all Marion Township. So, you know, they went to a lot of trouble to get me those, and, you know,
Well,
when they're,
this should already be easily accessible. The fact that they're writing it down is not.
they made a
Yeah,
different
this
program.
This is extremely unprofessional.
Well, I think they may have the money to do something like that now.
What are the highlights?
I don't know, Chief
Intelleplex
Lutz,
and
I think,
Intelleplex.
made the highlights, I'm not sure
Those are
why.
in Telplex, they're
Sis.
next to us.
Well, some of them are in Ashford.
Okay,
Some are on the steeplechase.
Yes.
right,
Yeah, I
that's,
see a lot of
that's
Ashford.
Marion Township. I mean, they are annexed into the city, but it is, you know, Marion Township also. But, yes, so, with the new law that passed, where our money is gonna go somewhere and not stay in our checking account, or 30% of it anyway, I just think it would be prudent to help them out. But I will say this, if you all approve it, I'm going to, if y'all let me, I would want to ask them to make it a 2-year contract and not just.
Did you find out why there was a 100% increase?
Just, you know, because of all the runs they make.
And that's what, when I talked to Doug a few weeks ago, when I ran into him, we were talking about it, and he said a lot of it was, there's so many runs, but he said majority of them, again, are to Ashford is the biggest one. And they were still at that point, was trying, and that was, what, a month ago, they were still getting all the runs together at that point. But again, the money part of it is what I'm trying to figure out. He said it cost them how much, I mean, they brought that to our attention back when they were looking at doing the territory, that how much more it was gonna, how much money it was costing them for our fire protection compared to what we pay. And that's where he said, well, how many runs, right? And
Well, you know, I think the fire territory was gonna be a lot more expensive.
right, it was, and that's
On our
what he said.
taxpayers.
That's what he said. It just wouldn't have, that wasn't right at
Yeah.
all by doing
And
that.
we've got the money in our account, so it won't, to my knowledge, it won't affect our, you know, tax rates for our citizens, because we've got the money.
Right.
And at least we didn't really like that fire territory idea
Right.
at all, because it really would impact the property taxes.
Yeah.
And that's what Doug said too. But money wise, are they getting, compared to what they were gonna get from the fire territory, in this. Do we ever get a number on that, what the difference is, or is this meeting what they wanted? By raising it 100%, is that giving them the funds they need? Maybe?
To expand the fire department to the casino area.
Either
is
that,
what
if
you're
that's
saying?
what, yeah, is
I
that,
don't-
is that,
I don't know. I don't
or
really
just to
think
cover
so.
to cover us and the expenses of them having to come to our township? I mean,
Yes.
so it's, because we've cost them, how much did they say in that last,
And, you know, it's
What
like
was
having
it?
an insurance
Right.
policy.
like it was
actually.
last time, they said it was costing them so much money a year, and we were only paying the 21,000, and they gave us that number.
They really,
It was quite a bit more.
it was a lot more. I can't
It's in my- It's in
remember.
my paper.
But,
When does this have to, I mean, is this something we have to approve?
yes, because
ASAP, right?
my contracting, I've got to complete the contracting for 2026 and budgeting. Yeah, right away. Yeah, we're already in pre-budget workshop mode for like in a couple of weeks.
And the thing is, that if we don't have an option to negotiate that though, 100%, we don't have an option to negotiate. It's either that or we have no fire protection.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Did you find out if Morristown could?
They're a
replace the
volunteer
contract?
fire department. And so if they were gonna pick up more of our territory, of our township, the response time would be really low. And I talked to my insurance agent, Beth Prince, about it. And, you know, okay, the phone call will go in, but you've got to get somebody from their house over to the station, you know, get geared up, start the engines, you know. So to have them take over is not feasible.
Now, other townships, are theirs being raised 100% to the same amount?
James Garrett Jr. already pays about 40,000, I think, or 42. So they're raising his 35%, I think, or 25 or 35. Jim Montgomery, the other county, the other township, they wanted to go into fire territory. They've asked to double his, and his board approved an 80% increase. But they've got two other fire stations to depend on. They've got Waldron and Marietta that they pay money to. So their obligation to Shelbyville went from 12,000 to it goes to 20,000 now. So because they're just third, because they've got Waldron and Marietta. They also fund the contracts. Us basically, they're our only one.
Right.
You know, except if they need the water tanks from Morristown, from areas of our county that aren't hydrated. And I don't think they use them very much, but they are for backup.
Right.
And so, you know, we depend on them a lot more than Shelby Township.
And then you're thinking you're negotiating it 2 years so that, I mean, I'm just thinking,
Yeah,
Or
so they
they-
won't go up again
in
next
2 years
year.
from now, are we doubling it again? Because then we can't. I mean,
Yeah,
That's not gonna be in the budget at all.
Yeah, I'd really rather have it for 2 years and not have to worry about it again for 2 years. And I've had the fire contract with Morristown. It was a 2-year contract. And with before Mayor Ferguson got elected, I always had like 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years with Shelbyville, with the previous fire chief, Tony Logan. And but then when the new administration came in, they just wanted to do it for 1 year because of, you know, wanting to, you know, go to a territory or just go ahead and increase our payment.
Right.
So here we are. And
So when we're looking at the receipts, so,
are you on the
the ledger.
ledger? Okay, yes. All right.
So is this, when you say receipts, is it receipts
Oh.
just for June 1st through June 30th?
Are you looking at,
Sorry,
Uh,
the fund ledger, the blue.
okay,
So when it says
Fund ledger
receipts,
for
and we
June.
received $41,316, is that for just the month of June, or is that for the entire year?
let's see, receipts, okay. That's just for the month of June. You want me to show you what it's been all year?
So every month,
Because this was
every
June's
month we get $40,000?
No. June's a big supplemental property tax and the taxes that we get. Let me get June. I've got January through June here. What is it gonna say my? Okay, here is January, I should have made you all a copy of this. Here is January through
Okay,
June
so
30th.
June is like the brunt of it all.
Well, there's some also in May. Look, here's 57,000.
Yeah.
Each month, I get about 2,300, okay?
Just averaging out.
Every month. And then it bumps up in May and June.
But your 2,300 is averaging out throughout the year.
Well, it's each month.
Right, but that's,
But then there's a major payment in May. There are some extra tax money that we received. And then June is a biggie, and also in December.
So there's 3 months out of the year that is well beyond 2,300.
Uh-huh.
right.
Yeah.
But what's like the total throughout the year? Like just in general, like.
Okay, well,
I'm just thinking if, I get that we have the money. That's, just because we have the money, I don't want to start
Give it to
spending
the
it
city.
and then then deplete and then we don't have the money. And especially with nothing in front of us that says what this money is being used for. Like, did you get any data? They give you any information on like, okay, if we have 45 runs, each run is $1,292. And because last year's runs were 120, that was a $45,000. So that's what I have a concern with.
I don't think they really think of it that way. They think of their personnel cost
Right.
and then their benefit cost and their equipment
But are they
cost.
increasing numbers? Are they, 100%.
Well,
I've
they
never
did.
seen anybody increase.
Except were they saying we
They-
were costing them so much more with it last, how many years
No,
we cost them?
it's their equipment. They got 3 brand new state-of-the-art ambulances they're trying to fund.
But that's not supposed to be, that's
And-
not us though, we're just
well,
on fire, right?
I know, but, it's coming out of the city budget. And they look at it as the cost of their full-time staff, they are, full-time staff, full-time. And each firefighter, they make 80-something thousand a year, right? And then they've got the benefits.
But where
on
are
top
the
of that.
numbers? You know what I mean? Like, where are the numbers? We have 100 firefighters. We have 400 runs. We have all these townships paying this money. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't see any of the information to back it up. Yes, they might have been in the red for the last 10 years.
And that's what
Then
they were-
show me the
Right,
documentation
they have not
for
done
it.
that.
That's what I don't get. I don't understand. Government spends way too much money on, I don't know what. So this just gives me such pause because we're just, yes, we have the money. So it's easy to say, okay, here you go. But without numbers, I don't know. It just feels like we're throwing money.
We have to go back, I'm trying to remember, was it last year? Well, it was, when we started talking about the fire territory, they brought to our attention, like, well, this is how much it's been, but it should have been more than this, because, was it Doug or someone said, what we've been paying is, just a drop in the bucket compared to what we should, but why was it never raised or brought to our attention for years and years and years that it got so far behind that all of a sudden we're this huge burden this year that we weren't, I mean, for 10 years we weren't a burden, but now all of a sudden it's jumped so much we are. And is that part of the new administration possibly, obviously?
I know that there were comments made in one of the public meetings that what our 3 townships paid on our contracts annually weren't even enough to pay for one of the full-time firefighters. So
But that's when we
I
asked
guess to
for,
attract.
but then that's when we said, well, how many runs did you make to
Right.
ours? And
Yeah, but sure, they make whatever runs, but
I mean, we need them, don't get me wrong, we need them.
Yeah, we need them. It's not like a per run thing, that's just having like insurance that they are there. I mean, there may be a big fire at the
Right.
hospital sometime, or a big, at the airport or something.
Right.
So you just never
I mean,
know.
I know we need coverage, like you said, it's like paying
Yeah, it's like
insurance.
having insurance.
But I guess, over the years, looking back at it, how much has it raised over the years, over the last 10 years? What did we pay 10 years ago compared to what we're paying now? I mean, because obviously I just came on board, 5 years? Gosh, it's been 5 years, Amy.
I know, and I came on board when
You did too. So I keep wondering now, looking back, how much has it gone up year to year, what we paid? I guess I can look back and see.
Okay, I think during COVID, it had been at maybe, gosh, I can't remember, maybe at 18,000 a year. And then when I came on board and the previous fire chief and I were negotiating, I gave them a 10% increase. That COVID, they needed all that special protective equipment because of
I think I remember
COVID.
that.
And so it's been at this level ever since 2020, or payable 2021. It's been this same amount.
The same amount, so it
Yeah.
really hasn't gone up since 2021.
Right. So this wouldn't take effect until 2026. And, the money that we get from the taxpayers is, well, it's a lot.
And the money, if we
Pays for
don't give it to the fire, then we give it to the roads. Is that what you're saying?
And that's what they're thinking, I'm sure. I talked to my
Right.
consultant about it,
Right.
Gail Snyder, and she said that's what they're thinking.
It's already in the plan. So do we cover it? I mean, but again, this number is not negotiable 100%, do we do 80%? I mean, that's not negotiable at all. But
I
then again,
guess
though,
it is,
but then
but
again, though,
it
if we
looks like
do-
I'm colluding
no,
with Jim
no.
Montgomery.
If we do the 80%, but then that just leaves that extra 20% that's then gonna go to the roads, right?
Probably, yeah,
Possible.
something like that.
So, I mean, I'm just thinking in my head, trying to make it make sense.
So you talked to Chief Lutz, and tell me, what was he?
Well, we were talking at that point in time, because I said, this whole fire territory, is that all scrapped now? And he said, yep, it's all scrapped. It's gonna cost too much money for the taxpayers, it's all scrapped. And then that's when I asked him about that, and he said, we're still working on that. And I said, I knew we hadn't talked again since that last meeting, and then that's all.
Well, my recommendation is that we offer what they want,
Because the county.
minus the pennies.
Minus
We'll make it an even number.
But on a 2-year,
Or
no, what,
plus-
is
or
it
plus
gonna be
something.
capped at what they could, like before?
But for
was
2
it
years.
capped before as to how much they could raise it? weren't they capped before as to how much they could raise it, and then all of a sudden now it was capped at,
Yeah,
Okay, right.
that's why in our firefighting fund,
it was like,
I
no,
mean,
it was
in our
minimal.
budget for firefighting, my information is that if I try to bump that fund up from the 30,333, I can only do like 4% increase for that. That's why my consultant has recommended that we put, when we budget in September, that we put that increase into the township fund. And I just will start a new line item on the budget documents that I submit for the firefighting contract increase. Shelbyville Fire Contract increase, and I just would put it on the general fund for township.
Mhm.
If the DLGF halts any big increase for fire. And that's probably what everybody's gonna do. If the DLGF won't let them,
So the consultant thinks that,
they should go for it.
does she would also work with other
Townships,
too?
yeah, she does.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's been helping us out since 2020.
Did you came up with?
But it's a board decision. You all are the ones that are supposed to vote on it and make a decision. I can only,
But we really don't, what is our other option though?
Yeah, I was.
We don't have another option,
Yeah.
right?
I'd say keep them happy.
Right, because we don't, what's our other option? Other than, let's make a deal and try to negotiate it, which I'm always a, salesperson, I'm always into negotiating, but if there's not the option to negotiate it, and then if we do, and again, if we don't give it to the fire department, it's gonna go somewhere else, is how I'm understanding it, right? If we don't give it to the fire department, they're gonna take it and put it somewhere else.
For the roads, which we'll have money for roads too.
Are they gonna come in for us for more money?
I think they'll, unrestricted funds, which means the money in your checking account, it's not obligated on your budget, then 30% of it will have to go to the county for roads.
So, but if we put all this money into fire, then that's less. It's gonna be.
Yeah, the 30% becomes less of a dollar.
And we don't have another option.
They're our main source. They are our main protection. And, well, y'all keep discussing it if you want to. Let me see. Okay, we've done that. Okay. So, yeah, and I've got a call in for David Benefield, the town council president for Morristown, to make sure that our contract stays at 4,400. And in our township, what we budgeted for, we've got $30,333. But each year we've only spent out, what's 21 plus 44, 26 or 27. We've got a little buffer there. We've got about, 4,000 that's always been in our budget already. So we'll be using that.
So we have to vote tonight on it.
Well, I'd like to, yes, because we're getting ready for the budget workshops and I need to submit my Form 1 with the money that we're planning on allocating to each fund for 2026. And then, we'll have our 2 meetings in September.
Right. And then when does the contract get signed with fire?
They'll probably, at some upcoming council meeting or Board of Public Works, I think is the one that really approves it. I mean, it would
Other
be-
townships, have already all been approved, the other townships?
I don't know, I don't think so. I don't know if there's been a meeting yet to approve any of them yet.
It's kind of
I'm not
It's like when
sure.
they throw the fire territory thing on us, okay, you gotta make a decision, what? And then I feel like this, it's okay, we're gonna double this, but you gotta make a decision, but at the same time, we don't have an option, there's not another option.
And our contract did say that if there's any modification to it, we're supposed to do it by June 30. But, I was out of town and Doug Lutz emailed me on June 26th and I'm like, okay, what? So here it is, July 7th. I'm sure that's fine. I mean, 8th,
Right.
whatever. But you all are the advisory board and you
I want
all,
my house protected too.
What?
We want our property
Right,
protected too.
exactly.
We want our property protected. It's for like, okay, and then you look at over the years, how much extra do we pay in insurance for our homes over the years? I mean, everything's doubled over the years. Not completely, but. The money's there.
So you're pretty much, Amy, you're pretty much going along with our consultant, right?
well, I have spent a lot of time researching this and discussing and weighing the options and talking to my own insurance gal and then the new law that got passed by the legislature that our 30% of our unrestricted funds have to go to the county road fund. And so it just kind of makes sense. It's going to go somewhere. So may as well keep our fire department paid.
And then as far as then, we're a 2-year contract, but after that, then they can do whatever they want.
Well,
Again.
I wouldn't.
But we
know
only have so
about
much,
that.
there's
I
only
mean,
so much
we've
money
had-
we have too.
Yeah, and
right?
we've had this in place for years. I don't think that they would try to, unless we really had a big population boom in Marion Township. I mean, I guess they would need to do something at that point, but I really don't even see them wanting to increase it like all the time this much.
Right.
They may, like I know Addison Township gave this fire department something like $7,500. Y'all see that in the newspaper for equipment. It was defibrillators or something, I'm not sure. But so there are some things like that townships can do just on an as needed basis. I've never done that before, but I know James Garrett. And then Shelby Township, they've helped buy a truck or something, some equipment for Marietta or Waldron. Out of their fire budget, in excess of their fire contract.
Oh.
So,
They cover a big portion of their township though too, though.
yeah, I guess.
Whereas Morristown for us is more water and not so
Yeah,
much
yes.
the people showing up. 'Cause that can take a long time.
But I know one firefighter at City of Shelbyville. I looked at the payroll, and it does look like they get paid $75,000 or $80,000 a year.
Yeah, which I mean,
I mean, they're putting
no, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
that's luckily. I mean, that's nicely that has
Right.
gone up over the years. I remember when it was a whole lot less.
Yeah.
And then with the more certifications they get, things like that, their pay rate goes up as well. So I mean, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, for
Water
what they do,
rescue and-
for what they do, yeah,
Yeah,
it's warranted without a
it
doubt
would be
on that.
something- it would be something.
So I personally, I think we don't have another option. We can negotiate it, it'd be great, but like I said, you're gonna negotiate for 2 years. If we can negotiate it down, that would be great too, but if that's not gonna be an option, we're
Well,
gonna use the money somewhere, but it's
If
just
y'all want me to go back at a different number than what they are proposing, you can tell me it.
Did they say why they came up with that number to double it?
I mean,
Just here you go.
well,
That's why I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't care what the number is. I really don't.
No,
But
why,
there's
how they came up
no
with it.
documentation for it at all. I don't feel comfortable with it at all. Like I just don't.
Is there an option to go back and see where they came up with the number to double it? I mean, I guess. So I'm always negotiating.
I mean, even if they said we've been in the red, just an explanation. But no one's here to explain it. They're just giving us a number and saying you can either agree to this or you don't get fire protection.
that's basically what he said in my email.
Can we call Deb, what's this year with us? Why the heck I did March some of this? Maybe that's that. So these are. So like a person in distress, person in distress isn't a fire run, that's more of an ambulance, right? So these have all the runs on it.
He told me they were fire.
Well, because they always send a truck, they always send a truck anyway, because
Well,
they need
he-
the extra support.
He had like 8. Marty, I sent you that so-called spreadsheet or whatever. He talked about there were something like 400 runs or something like that.
460 something.
Yeah,
runs
and then
one
he,
year.
and then 86 were fire related.
Fire really. In a
So
year's time.
yeah, like 2024, and then for 2025 year to date, there's like 42.
So if we're paying 43,000 a year, the other townships are paying whatever, or we're probably covering one salary then.
Yeah.
They're about probably.
Yeah.
So how have they been paying all these people?
From the city general fund, I guess, the city of Shelbyville.
Waiting for
And
the
then our
townships to
contract.
step up, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, it just seems really.
It is, I mean, I think it goes back down to, for years, they said they've been operating
in the
in the red for our townships. But again, it took years for them to come out with it. But we don't have a lot of negotiating power either. But I still think it'd be nice, even with this, if we would approve it, to come up with numbers to justify.
Okay, what
And then we
numbers
would-
do you want?
No, as far as the reason for
What?
doubling, why the 100% increase?
Well, I
Other
just
than-
think it's obvious.
I mean, just the
For your
fact that.
personnel and equipment and those new
Oh, yeah.
ambulances
But
that
for the
cost
last-
whatever.
And they haven't, I guess when you look at it, they have not raised it in all these years, other than that teeny tiny little bit over the years.
They are hurting for money, obviously. They couldn't do a fire territory because none of the townships were for that.
Right. And that one didn't work.
Yeah, and then, no, so this was their other option, which I think it's less hurtful to our citizens, our taxpayers, whatever, than a fire territory would have been.
Yeah, fine, fourth, is that what you're talking about when we were to decide on the fourth fire station?
Right. And I wasn't for that, and I still, I mean, I keep thinking, okay, we're gonna double our money, and the casino's gonna get their own little fire department. That's probably what's gonna, I mean, that's part of the money's gonna go there, I'm sure, over time, but they can't afford to do that either. I mean, even doubling, I don't think we can afford to put another fire department in there.
What was it? Didn't we see that in some of those documents for the fire territory about how much it was gonna cost to build one?
Well, just to make, and the equipment itself, I mean, you have to staff it
I
with
mean,
all
it's
the
like
staff.
millions.
Yeah, it was gonna be how many more people, and plus the benefits
Right.
and the salaries, and then the equipment. It's like, even doubling ours isn't gonna get that. And it's not gonna get that.
Right.
I mean, our negotiating power is not
Well,
there.
now don't
We
give them any
have it.
ideas to triple it, they may be listening to this.
Yeah, it's true. I know, it's what I'm trying to do. No, I mean, I think we don't have any negotiating power, that's for sure. We want to be protected. The funds are there. That's why I don't want it doubled up so much, but we don't have any negotiating power and to say that, oh, we don't want to do this because then we don't have any protection, and I don't want to be responsible for that for our whole township either. And, I mean, as far as your Gail, right? I mean, under her advisement, she's advising you. I mean, obviously, this is the only option. So,
We really analyzed it, especially with regard to that new law, that 30% of our unrestricted funds is gonna be
it's going to be pushed away anyway, so we may as well give it to
taken,
help
and
protect
the
ourselves.
city of Shelbyville knows that.
And that's the thing.
So, instead of us giving it for all that road, for the roads, we can give it to our fire protection.
And then have a little bit of good.
But it's y'all's decision, and whenever y'all
Well,
Want to
I
take a
think I'm
vote, somebody?
agreeing with the consultant. You feel that you're wanting to do this because you have been consulted.
yes,
do
and
this.
yeah, and what I've learned about it too, you know, and analyzing our options, which, you know, I've even thought about, okay, get a fire contract with the Brandywine or Fairland Fire Territory. Nah,
That's too far.
that's too far. And Morristown, they're a volunteer fire department, they can't expand and be down here quick enough.
Right.
And we've got to keep our homeowners insurance, you know,
Mhm.
affordable.
Right.
So what is our next
And our
step?
property protected from,
Right.
you know, if we have a fire. So
What
what,
is our next step? Are we
Well,
going to vote on this
yes,
tonight?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but y'all call it to a vote, not me. You all vote on it, I don't.
Right.
It's just it's a board decision, so I'm just gonna,
An educated decision. I mean, I guess educated and uneducated. I mean, we're going with what our advisor says, under advisement of them.
Mhm.
And
yes.
we don't have, like I said, don't have another option. So,
So I vote that
You wanna make a motion?
I want to make a motion that we accept the advisement that we do as our city is asking us to do for our fire department.
Can we take the pennies off and make it even?
Make it moving,
Oh, okay.
okay?
in a 2-year contract.
And a 2-year
Boom.
contract.
Boom, baby. Okay, well, okay, there's that motion on the floor.
I guess I'll second it.
And Marty, you're on the fence.
I know, does it have to be unanimous? Okay, I don't feel comfortable. I mean,
Call it for a vote, Chairman. Vote on the motion.
didn't they already do it?
Well, I seconded it, but we had to vote on it
But
now.
we have to
Okay.
have.
It's a small,
Yeah,
our
it's
small board.
all those in
Unanimous.
Oh, all those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Me. I honestly,
She's like her dad.
I'm
Yeah.
totally fine with paying them their, however much they cost. I'm totally fine with it. I just don't feel comfortable without seeing the numbers.
And I still would like to maybe get something from Doug or something like that. Just for
Amy's
us.
been asking.
Oh, I know.
The
But
fact
we're-
that they're writing addresses out, but, I mean, no business
Right.
would keep
Right.
this kind
Where's
of
the database?
documentation.
There's a database that prints this out. They don't keep track of this, and it's not like the ledger when they wrote
And
it.
then every run, how much it is, how much each, I mean, there's gotta be line items
There is
somewhere in the government.
And I wish we had the negotiating power to say that. You know what I mean? And that's my whole thing. If we had the negotiating power to say it, I would, hey, lay it out there, but we don't have it.
It seems like, from my discussions with some of the other township trustees about this, the fire department, I don't even know if they have their own, because our checks go to the Shelbyville General Fund, and then they pay from there. That's my understanding, but,
And we know that money goes in there.
so, but there must be some sort of an accounting to
Right,
there
to
has
say
to
how
be.
much the,
Has to
city
be. Well, why
city
can't
fire
we see it?
department is.
Why can't we see
Yeah,
it?
okay, I'm sorry, I did
I
not
know,
get that.
well, I know,
Yeah,
but
we'll
you've
get
been,
you-
you've
we'll
been
get you-
asking.
We'll get you-
It'll be like a written, like,
No, but, and this is kind of an embarrassment to, in a sense, to them.
I'm shocked that they
It's an
wrote that.
embarrassment to them.
So don't apologize that it took them forever, because this should not be.
Well, we have to handwrite it.
Yeah, I was wanting to see all of the copies of this because I wanted to see how many, where all did they go in our things.
Yes.
Yeah. They're set, I mean, they're all of them go together.
Oh, so we only have one copy for all of the places. in life.
Yeah, this is,
Oh.
so this
I
is
see.
June,
It was
July,
all,
August, yours is
Oh.
January, I don't know what
Oh,
hers is.
oh.
I made two
okay.
copies.
Okay,
and-
so
and then it
January's
kinda
here.
got-
I'm sure there's some typos in here too.
Okay.
It is kind of, I would say that.
I can email you both, I can email all three of you
I don't,
that
I don't need
spreadsheet
that.
because
You can keep
I
it.
printed it out and then it fell on the floor and they got jumbled up and I went, oh heck, I'll just put them in the middle of the table.
So
I'm gonna
this
ask
is
Doug the
only
next
one
time.
copy.
What if
One
it's-
copy, yeah.
What's the yellow mean? I am curious on that. And why is it handwritten? That's the oddest thing. Unless it came
They
down
don't
to,
have that
they don't
program,
have-
yeah, they just.
it is
yeah,
all one,
it's
they
crazy.
can't pull townships. They can't pull what was just in our township. But again, you copy and paste it from
Hold
the
on.
program to
They
the,
might have to hire a whole nother employee.
to do this. That's
Yeah.
what,
But it-
that's the 100% agree.
So let's go,
Let's not do that. But, yeah, it is, yeah. This-
Okay, so what's our next move since we're not unanimous on that?
oh, it just takes a majority. So we're,
Oh,
We're a
we're,
we're a small
Oh,
board.
I
We're
see. Okay,
So-
okay, I got you.
have you got that in your notes for the
Yes, I will,
minutes?
for the minutes, I will put
Okay.
that on I'll put that on my agenda,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then I can write on their agenda.
Yeah, I left
um,
spaces on the agenda so that you could make notes.
Approve.
Then, one other thing I want to discuss is because of the new law that we have to be streaming, I've had to incur the services of Chris New. He's really great techie. He's done some of the other video streaming for some of the other townships, maybe all of them. But just, he's very economical to set me up with this and our YouTube channel and everything. It was $150
Oh.
for him.
To set it up.
And then he came over earlier before y'all got here to make sure I was doing it properly. So I
Is that a
don't.
one-time thing? The
Mhm.
150, the one time to
Yeah,
set it all up?
Right, but then when I asked him to come and help me today, he may bill me another $50 or $25 or something, I don't know. But I just feel like I need board approval of that, so if somebody can make a motion about approving Chris News
Services.
technical
Tech
services.
Well, motion that we take a vote on his services.
Approved tech service. Was it Chris?
Chris New,
NUE.
And I second.
all in favor for approving his services? All not in favor?
We'll get it at 150 bucks, 200.
Again, I'm totally
Right.
fine
Oh, I
with
know,
the
yeah.
amount, I really am.
For the protection.
And I'm totally fine with going with, I just,
Would like to know.
it just
I'm-
doesn't make sense that they cannot provide us with numbers.
More, yeah, more.
You know, I mean, surely we can get that from the city, from the clerk treasurer's office, and he keeps track of how much the fire department costs. You know, personnel, equipment, benefits, all of that. I mean, in fact, oh my gosh, it's on Gateway. We can look it up. If I find that, I'll email it to you.
The what, for the, oh yeah, we can, that's on Gateway.
Because it's on
Any,
Gateway.
any government employee can find it on Gateway.
Yeah,
Find out
Yeah,
exactly.
if the city of Shelbyville has to file an annual financial report like we do every,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
on Gateway.
January. Or if it by, the end of February, we file that and y'all approve it for me, for the township.
Well, you make it sound so easy, but they weren't giving us the number.
I know,
They were
and I'm
asking.
sorry. I guess I should
I know, but you've been asking, we've been asking Jenny Meltzer for it for quite some time.
Since December.
Yeah, I mean, we've not gotten numbers at all. So,
Are you interested in seeing this?
there's 2 copies. She got 1 copy, you got the other copy.
I don't need a copy. I've got-
And you don't need,
I don't want the copy.
okay,
Yeah.
so is this the whole,
That's the whole thing. You can have it.
and you don't,
I'll just ask Doug with the yellow thing.
I'm just curious as to see.
Order.
Okay, so, if y'all don't have any new business to discuss or any old business, if there's a motion to adjourn, one of y'all make a motion. I'll turn off that. That's okay.
Okay.
You go ahead,
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I second, go have dinner. Have you had dinner, Marty?
I have had dinner, yes.
Oh,
My
you
husband
have?
was making
Okay.
it.
Oh, he was making
Yeah,
it, so,
he makes
yeah.